Welcome, incoming sixth grade families. I would like to take this opportunity to give you an overview of what to expect when coming to the middle school this next school year. I know that coming to the middle school is a big transition for students and families both. Hopefully, this video will alleviate some of the pressure and stress that can come with this transition. My name is Eric DeAngelis, and I'm the building principal here at WAMS. The middle school has two assistant principals, Mr. Mark Klink and Mr. Ben Newhart. Mr. Newhart will be the sixth grade assistant principal, and he will loop with your class as they move through sixth to seventh to eighth grade. Miss Diana Carey is the sixth grade counselor. This video will cover many aspects of the middle school and answer many of the general questions that we receive each year from incoming students and families. While this video provides a good overview of information, please rest assured that we will review all of this information again with the students during the first few weeks of school. Thank you in advance for watching. The most common question we receive each year is, what classes am I going to have? Or what academics should I be expecting at the middle school? All students will have 4 core classes, each 60 minutes long. The 4 core classes are math, ELA or English, science, and social studies. All courses are the same except for Math 6 and Pre-Algebra. Pre-algebra students are selected based on several criteria, including grades, academic performance, PSSA scores, attendance, and teacher recommendation. The social studies course for sixth grade is World Geography, and the science course is Earth Science. Sixth grade students will attend 3 of these 4 core classes in a row before going to lunch and then taking their 4th core class. Here is a template of the daily schedule to give you a visual representation of what a common day looks like here at WAMS. As I stated before, the day will begin with 3 core classes, then lunch, and then a final core class. Next will be related arts and WIN classes. All students have a Braves block class scheduled for last period. All students are scheduled for a WIN period, which stands for What I Need. The class will be scheduled for 5th or 6th period. Students can receive extra support in math and ELA during this time. If students are not in need of additional academic support, they may choose an elective style WIN class such as oceanography or coding. Students eligible for elective style classes are based on grades and academic performance. A survey will be sent out over the summer months to give your student an opportunity to select what elective they would like to participate in. Students will select their top 4 choices for elective classes. We will attempt to make sure that every student receives their first choice elective. However, based on student interest, class availability, courses, sizes of the courses, and scheduling conflicts, your student may not receive their first choice for an elective. Some of the more popular classes may not be available until the second semester of the school year. Students will also have a related arts class opposite of their WIN class. There are 6 related arts classes, each lasting approximately 30 days. The courses are art, STEM, health, music, media, which is in the library this year, focusing on general research skills, gym, and first choice, which is an exposure to the career pathways, jobs, and general interests for the students. Another question I am sure you are all asking is, when will I know my schedule for all these classes? Schedules will be posted into the portal the first week of August. Parents, it is important to note that we use the portal much more than at the elementary level. The portal is an excellent tool and resource to be involved in and help support your learner. Please ensure that you are able to log into the Sapphire Community Portal prior to the start of the school year. All report cards will also be posted here on the portal. Also worth noting, 6th grade will never really leave the new edition in WAMS except for related arts, lunch, and gym class. Students 6th grade specifically all eat as a grade level. Here's an example of the general format of a student's schedule. It'll have information at the top, such as the student's locker number, counselor, and team. Below is a list of the periods, subjects, teachers, and room numbers for each class. Please note the general layout of the schedule. The first 4 periods of the day are the main academic core classes and a lunch. Following that is the win periods and the related arts. Below that, the last period of the day is Braves block. A common point of confusion is the related arts sections. Each related arts class lasts approximately 25 days, and then the next course will begin. On your student schedule, all 7 related arts classes will be listed, but please only focus on the first one for the start of the year. Teachers will help students transition to future related arts classes once the year begins. I am happy to announce that this school year, all students across all grade levels will be assigned to a team. The benefit of the teaming concept is to create consistency for students, enhance communication, and offer additional supports to the students. Teams are all located in close proximity to one another to limit the distance of transition during the day. Teaming also allows teachers to collaborate on a variety of activities, rewards, and other cross curricular opportunities. All teams have a common time together to allow for enhanced communication and planning together to increase the quality of instruction and education that our students receive. Each team also has a team leader. Team leaders act as a primary point of contact when parents or guardians have any kind of general questions regarding the school day. Another common question is, how will my student be graded? And what are the expectations academically at the middle school? The transition from elementary to secondary is specifically difficult in academics, as our goal at WAMS is to begin transferring academic ownership and responsibility onto our learners, while also offering support and safety nets to help them be successful. All academic departments have specific grading policies and an amount of weight assigned to specific categories and assignments to create equality and balance across the grade levels. It is worth noting that homework is always worth 10% of the grade, and generally, tests and quizzes hold a higher weight. Homework is meant to establish good foundations in practice that they can then apply to the tests and the quizzes. It is also worth noting that at the time of the video, late work is accepted 2 days after for a maximum of 50% credit. Parents, please also learn to check the community portal and talk to your student about daily assignments and making sure that these are submitted on time. This is a good routine for parents and students to get into from the start of the year. We know that this is a large and often challenging transition for our students. So, how do we help support our adolescent students here at WAMS? Well, to begin, we start with the teaming concept as previously discussed in the video, which again allows for easier and more consistent communication for both the students and parents. Students have a 40-minute period Braves block each day, allowing them to work with teachers on their team for specific content and support. After school, help is available daily from 2:30 until 3. This year, unfortunately, there is no activity bus. So if students choose to stay, the student must walk home from WAMS, or parents or guardians are responsible for providing transportation. WIN classes offer, again, ELA and math remediation to students who need this additional support. These remedial classes are designed to support learners with the prerequisite skills for upcoming lessons in these subjects. Each year, WAMS admin and counselors work with community volunteers to become mentors at WAMS. All mentors go through the necessary screening and clearance checks before becoming a mentor. Mentors work with eligible students on setting goals, missing assignments and work, and developing plans of improvement with students. Also, each year, WAMS, counselors, and admin work with small groups on various goals and skills such as organization, time management, self esteem, peer relationships, and other skills and topics that are often needed. WAMS also uses a program called SAP, which stands for Students Assistance Program, which is set up for staff, students, or others to refer students of concern to our SAP team to see if that learner or family may qualify for outside services through a partnership with Healthy Communities. WAMS also has a partnership with Laurel Life, which is a therapeutic organization to offer in school and at home services. Lastly, the portal, as we mentioned, is an excellent support and resource for both students and guardians. As learners transition to WAMS, we also usually receive questions about IEPs and 504 plans. These documents and the process for developing them are very similar to how they are at the elementary level. Each student with an IEP or 504 is assigned a case manager who will work with each family to make sure the support of the child's plans are in place to help the learner be successful at WAMS. The case manager will be responsible for coordinating meetings with the guardians and discussing the accommodation and programs within the plan. They are also responsible for coordinating additional meetings to ensure the plan is working and that the learner is successful throughout the school year. Please feel free to contact these case managers for any reason if you have questions or want to schedule a meeting. Please know your child will only be assigned a case manager if they currently have an IEP or a 504 plan. Bullying is another concern that is often brought up by parents as they enter the secondary level in a much larger school building. Bullying is something that is not tolerated at WAMS and will be dealt with as quickly as possible. Please know that your child's physical and emotional safety at school is our top priority here at WAMS. It is critical that if something is going on here at school, that your student report the issue as quickly as possible to his teacher, counselor, you as parents or guardians, and also making a statement here in the office. Please know the sooner an issue is reported, the quicker the issue can be resolved. Once an issue has been reported to the office, the building administrator will investigate the issue and reach out to the parties involved. Please know and understand that bullying is defined as an ongoing concern or issue with a student, not a one time event. Also, bullying is typically a one sided issue, with a student targeting specifically another student. Again, I take this very seriously and it will not be tolerated. Based on the investigation, consequences will be issued and parents notified. Please note that due to family privacy laws, WAM's staff cannot and will not discuss these consequences given with anyone other than the students who receive the consequences and their guardians. Another large change for learners to know as they transition from elementary school to WAMS is they will receive homework every day. Our teachers assign meaningful homework to our learners each day to reinforce the concepts taught during the school day. These assignments are meant to form a deeper understanding of the content and allow the learners to practice applying said concepts or content on their own. Homework assignments count for 10% of the learner's grade. It is important that homework is done on time as concepts and materials are used daily and built on daily. Once again, using the community portal and calendar is a great way to see the assignments due, but also to look at the coming days ahead to see what will be coming up next. A couple of tips for parents to review with their learners. First, use your time wisely in Braves Block each day. If used appropriately, the vast majority of homework can be completed in the Braves Block period. Secondly, sometimes classwork becomes homework because the student may not have used their time wisely in class when given time to complete an assignment. Finally, for a longer project that may be assigned, it is important to work on the project incrementally or in smaller steps instead of waiting or procrastinating and attempting to do the entire project in one or two sittings. Often, learners use their Chromebooks to complete these homework assignments. The library and some classrooms are available after school from 2:30 to 3 for after school help. Please note, to start the school year, there will be no activity bus. If your learner chooses to stay for the after school help, they will need a ride or they will need to walk home. Another question often asked is, what supplies will my student need for this coming school year? Many of the supplies are the same as the fifth grade for elementary school. The supply list can be found on the district and WAM's websites. WAMs will supply each student with a combination lock for their locker. We request students not use their own lock, as if the combination is forgotten or lost, or in case of emergency, the lock may be cut off. Prior to the start of the year, I would like to take this opportunity to review the dress code with parents and students. WAMs and washes follow the same dress code that is available for review on the website. I encourage you to closely review the dress code prior to the start of school. The dress code is board approved and followed and enforced by staff daily. Another important expectation for our learners here at WAMS is showing respect to all other learners and staff. We believe that every person here in the building deserves respect and should be treated with respect, all while respecting others. This helps create a healthy and safe environment for all the learners. Another area that some learners can struggle with is the cafeteria. Please note that we are feeding around 350 learners in a 30-minute period. It is essential for all learners to follow the expectations and rules in the cafeteria for this to occur in a safe and orderly manner. Cafeteria rules are very basic, very simple, and very easy to follow. Generally, students are allowed to sit wherever they please, but please note that they can and will be assigned a seat if their behavior becomes an ongoing concern. Also, in our modern world, cell phones and smart watches are also the center of many questions. We have a specific set of expectations for these devices we ask all students to follow. These devices should be off and put away during the school day. I suggest that students lock these devices in their locker. However, as long as the device is off and out of sight, it may be on the learner's person. Students will never be asked to utilize their device at school for any reason. Each learner has a Chromebook that allows them to complete any academic task asked of them. If a learner needs to call home, they may come to the office and use the office phone. If a student does not follow this policy, the phone will be confiscated and a parent will be asked to pick it up. If this occurs again, the same process will occur and the student will also be assigned a 60-minute detention. Parents and guardians, we ask that you refrain from texting or calling your child during the school day. If you need to relay a message or speak to them, the most effective way is to simply call the office. All students have a Chromebook at WAMS. All incoming students should already have a Chromebook in case. If you do not, please call the front office. We ask that all students utilize the school issued case at all times, as it is very effective at protecting the device. Any issues with the Chromebook should be reported immediately to the student's teacher so they can report to the help desk and correct the issue. In years past, sixth grade students did not take their Chromebook home each night to start the year. However, as students are now receiving their Chromebooks in elementary school and are more experienced with them and their use, this practice may change. All Chromebooks are hardwired with a program called GoGuardian. This program monitors and tracks all searches and website activity 24 hours a day, every day. Teachers also have the ability to lock a student's screens to help them keep on the appropriate site or tab the class is working on. All searches at home or off school grounds are also monitored. Please caution your learner to not make any inappropriate searches. If this occurs, the administration will receive a report and screenshots of the search and you will be notified. Students also have access to email. We ask that you remind your student that email is a communication tool, and in this case, for educational purposes, and it should be used as such. It is also worth noting that using Google Docs as a form of texting or inappropriate communication is not appropriate. Even if the content itself of the conversation is not inappropriate, if used during class time, it will detract from the learning experience. Attempting to trick or circumnavigate GoGuardian is a very serious offense and should not be attempted under any circumstance. Please never give out any of your personal information or passwords to anyone under any circumstance. All students will also be scheduled for Braves Block the last period of the day. The primary focus of this period is student support. However, it is also our activity period for band, chorus, and other clubs available at the middle school. Students may see any of their teachers for help or assistance during this time. as long as they schedule the request with the teacher prior to Braves block. If this time is used wisely, most homework can be done during this period with teacher support. The period also allows students opportunity to make up missed work from excused absences, visit the library to check out books, and again, to receive any additional required support from the student's teachers. Morning arrival will look a little different at WAMS than in years past. We ask that car riders drop their students off at Summit View in the drop off lane. Students can then take the sidewalk directly to the Outback entrance at WAMS. Bus riders and walkers will utilize the front entrance. Buses will drop students off at the high school and they can simply walk on the sidewalk directly across to WAMS. Students may enter the building at 7:15. We ask the parents do not drop their kids off much earlier than that, as there are no staff present to supervise the learners. The late bell rings at 7:38. Students who are not in the building and at their first class by this time will be considered tardy. We ask that you do not drop your students off at Martin's as there is no sidewalk or crosswalk present for your learner to safely travel to the building. We ask that all learners stay on the paved sidewalks during the transition on school property. All of these walkways are clearly visible and are very simple to follow. They simply represent the best and safest way to get to the school building on school property. Dismissal from WAMS is at 2:30. Bus students will walk to washes on the paved walkways. We ask all students to cross in the crosswalks in the parking lot and then stay on the walkways to their buses. Teachers will be present at all crosswalks and during the transition over to the buses. Car riders will be picked up in the front of the building as in years past. Again, car riders will be picked up out front of the building. Please remember, when exiting the WAMS parking lot, you cannot turn left or go straight. I have attached a video to further provide information. All WAMS students will receive a locker at WAMS. Sixth grade students will be assigned a combination lock from the school for their locker. Nobody except their Braves Block teacher, administration, and your student will have access to the combination. Please do not share this information with anyone. Each team will have locker schedules to help control when students can utilize their lockers. This will keep hallway congestion and off task behavior at a minimum. Students will be allowed to carry backpacks during the school day, which will drastically cut down on the need to use their lockers throughout the day. All lunches are 30 minutes long. Students will have many choices at lunch here at the middle school. Our cafeteria staff does a wonderful job preparing lunches and food for our students. Every day, students will have the option of two hot lunch lines, pizza, and a very colorful salad bar. As previously stated, students will be able to sit with their friends and where they choose as long as off task behavior does not become an ongoing issue. The rules of the cafeteria are very common sense and very easy to follow. They include keeping your hands and feet to yourself and out of other people's food, using appropriate language and not yelling, raising your hand to get out of your seat, and not throwing food. Obviously, all students have access to restrooms at the middle school. Students are encouraged to use the restrooms before and after school as well as during lunchtime. During class, students must ask permission to use the restroom and fill out an e-hall pass. Teachers can ask students to wait to use the bathroom if asked during instruction or an important part of the lesson. If it is an emergency, a student will never be denied access to the restroom. In rare cases of an emergency, the student will be asked to report to the nurse's office to use the restroom or directly to the nurse's office after using the nearest restroom. Inappropriate or destructive behavior in the restrooms will not be tolerated at WAMS and will result in significant consequences. Attendance is an extremely important part of student success. When students are absent, they must turn in a note to the front office. Notes must be submitted within 3 days of the absence. The district follows all state and federal school attendance laws. Students who are frequently absent may be required to submit a doctor's note for all absences. If you are taking your student out of school early, please let the office know prior to the day, if possible, and come to the front office to sign your student out. Please make sure that you have a driver's license or another form of official identification. If the person picking up your student is not a parent or legal guardian or on our emergency contacts list, we will not release the student unless administration has spoken to the parent and or guardian about the situation. First period starts at 7:38. Students will be considered tardy if they are not in their seat and ready to begin at this time. Excessive tardiness can result in consequences. Attendance is an extremely important part of student success. When students are absent, they must turn in a note to the front office. Notes must be submitted within 3 days of the absence. The district follows all state and federal school attendance laws. Students who are frequently absent may be required to submit a doctor's note for all absences. If you are taking your student out of school early, please let the office know prior to the day, if possible, and come to the front office to sign your student out. Please make sure that you have a driver's license or another form of official identification. If the person picking up your student is not a parent or legal guardian or on our emergency contacts list, we will not release the student unless administration has spoken to the parent and or guardian about the situation. First period starts at 7:38. Students will be considered tardy if they are not in their seat and ready to begin at this time. Excessive tardiness can result in consequences. Students will not be permitted to be on or utilize social media during the school day. Unfortunately, many of the issues we see arise with student conflict stems from inappropriate use of social media. I encourage all parents to monitor or altogether keep their children from using social media. Parents are encouraged to also remind their students that anything posted online can potentially last forever. When online or social media issues come to school or in the school building, consequences can be assigned. Additionally, in severe cases, WASD police may also have to become involved. At WAMS, we believe in positive encouragement and positive rewards for good behavior. We utilize Braves Bucks at the middle school. Students are awarded Braves Bucks when they show positive behavior, such as showing respect for others, assignment completion, doing a good deed, etc. Braves Bucks may be spent in a wide variety of ways, ranging from lunch rewards, drawings, and lottery items to a school store, etc. We often will survey the student body or ask students about what specific rewards they want and are interested in. Students often win ice cream parties, pizza parties, and other fun activities with friends from earning these Braves Bucks. We look forward to giving out as many as we can each year. Communication is extremely important for a successful experience, not only during the school age years, but also in life. Communication at the secondary level looks a little different than in elementary school as your child continues to grow and become more responsible for their own daily responsibilities. An important part of middle school is developing these skills and beginning to foster independence and responsibility. The first line of communication is your child. Most general and class specific communication is given multiple times a day in a variety of ways. Some of these include daily announcements made both in the morning and again in the afternoon, administrative announcements made during all of the lunches, reminders and general information being shared by teachers during Braves block, and again, all of this information being played throughout the day on repeat in many of the screens we have throughout the building. And of course, teachers also play a vital role in sharing information every day. Chances are, if you have a question, your student already knows the answer. If you have specific questions regarding grades, assignments, etc., the teacher is the best person to reach out to directly. Email is often going to be the best way to contact the teachers as the vast majority of their day is well spent teaching and they will not be available for phone calls. When sending an email, please allow 24 hours for a response. A phone conference can also be scheduled via email. As discussed earlier in the video, every team has a team leader. This person will act as the primary contact person for general questions or concerns, such as general school day functions or questions, questions about team roles or activities, field trips, behaviors, etc. The team leaders will be posted on our school website for quick and easy access. Parents and guardians can always also request a team meeting to discuss your student's progress, concerns, academics, etc. These can be held virtually or in person, and scheduling this meeting would be coordinated through the team leader. 2:30 to 3 o'clock is the most common time for team meetings, and it is the only time during the day when all of the teachers will be available at the same time for a meeting. The portal is an incredibly useful tool and one that I believe is not often used enough by parents and guardians. The portal is a way for parents and guardians to see their students' progress, assignments, attendance, and grades. I recommend that parents check the portal at least weekly, if not daily. Videos demonstrating how to log in and use the portal will be posted on the school website. If you do not know your username or password for the portal or have any general questions, you can always call the WAMS front office at 717-762-1191, extension 1300 or 1306. The school website is yet another means of communication. The website is updated frequently in the various sections of the site. These sections include the news section, more headlines section, and the events sections. I recommend checking the website at least once per week if possible. New this school year will be a monthly newsletter that will be shared and posted on the website as well. This will have WAM specific information highlighting the various happenings and events that we have in the building, important dates, etc. All of this information is again discussed and announced daily during the school day with all of our students. If you have more urgent questions, you can also always call the WAMS office at 717-762-1191, extension 1300 or 1306. WAMS offers a variety of athletics, extracurricular activities, and clubs. I encourage all students to try a variety of sports and activities as it often sparks different interests, exposes students to different peer groups, and provides a new experience for the learners. Clubs, athletics, etc., are all announced and discussed during the school day. When sports are around the corner, the coaches will often come to the school and hold a meeting of interest with the students who may wish to participate. If your student has any interest in sports or clubs, just have them keep an eye out during the school day, and there's no way that they can miss it. I would like to give everyone an idea of where the sixth grade classrooms will be located. As I indicated in the video, all sixth grade classrooms are part of the building's new addition in a straight line down the hallway from the main doors to the new wing. As you can see from this video, straight ahead of us are the main entry doors. I ask that you please excuse some of the items in the hallway as our custodial staff are working hard to make sure that the building is clean and ready to go for the start of the school year. The sixth grade wing is where all of the students' sixth grade's core classrooms are located. I know a worry for many sixth grade students is getting lost in a larger building. What's nice about this new wing is that all of their classes will be grouped together and it'll be extremely difficult to get lost as the classes are all located in this one single hallway, making it extremely difficult to get lost. As you can see, and as I said, straight from the main entrance and straight shot down the hallway brings you to the sixth grade wing. All of the classrooms are going to be clearly labeled and are going to be right next to each other, making it extremely difficult to get lost. Also, as you can see, the sixth grade lockers. Every student at Williams will be assigned a locker to have and will be given a lock. The sixth grade lockers are very spacious, and you can see the inside of it here are large enough for backpacks, coats, or any item that a sixth grade student might need to put or store in the locker. Another important area for students to know about is the cafeteria, where the students eat lunch. The cafeteria is located down the cafeteria hallway. For reference point, we were just in the new sixth grade wing, which is located in a straight shot from the main entry doors down that way. Before we walk down to the cafeteria, just for reference, again, here is the main office area and the main entries into the building. So as we walk down this hallway, this is the way every student in the building will come down to get lunch every day. So as they file down, they will take a left here at this first set of double doors, which will enter into the cafeteria area. We have a very spacious cafeteria, and I do ask that you please excuse the tables and some of the items around, as our custodial staff are working hard to make sure the building is clean and ready to go for this upcoming school year. When students enter in, they will come into the kitchen area in the serving lines, which will be located in here. As you can tell, we have several lines available, and you will also notice the big screen TVs, of which there are 4. All food offerings and options for the day will be clearly presented on these screens. We have 2 main hot lines located at the far end and whenever the students first enter in from the doors. If students come over here, there will be pizza and hot sandwich items available, as well as in the center of the serving area, a wonderful and fresh salad bar. When students pick their options, they can come up and there are 4 registers that help students get quickly through the lines. They will then, after cashing out, enter into the kitchen area, or rather the cafeteria area, where there will be a condiment table located right here, and students can get whatever items they need before taking a seat. Students are permitted to sit anywhere in the cafeteria that they would like, and with their friends. You will also notice that there are cubby areas where students may put any of their belongings, backpacks, and etc. before sitting down to eat. This is the main entrance into the middle school. These doors are always kept closed and locked, but for the purpose of the video, I do have this one door open. When parents or visitors want to come up, to gain access, you must buzz in, to which one of our secretaries will allow you access into the foyer. Up front here, as we enter into the foyer, is the front office desk where parents may sign in or check in with students, or give notes or other documentation for the office. Dismissal is a very busy part of the day. Most students will exit out of the front entrance as seen here. Based on the grade level and or the class that they end the day in, they may also use the second exit a little further down the building. Students this year will be dismissed to the bus lines by grade, 6th going first, followed by 7th, and then finally 8th. Teachers will be escorting students out of the building, and as students exit for their safety, they are always encouraged to remain at all times on sidewalks or the various available crosswalks, as you can see here. Again, teachers will be available to walk students the whole way over to the bus lines. Buses do park in the Washes parking lot. Walkers are encouraged to always follow the sidewalk up to 2nd Street. We do ask, again, that students are always using crosswalks, whether that be in the Whams or Washes parking lot or on 2nd Street. We ask that students do not just run across the street for obvious safety concerns and safety reasons. After all the busers have left, then walkers and car riders will be dismissed just before 2:30. All car riders are going to be picked up out front of the school building as in years past. And again, walkers are at that point also free to begin their walk home, and again, using crosswalks and sidewalk space. Thank you for taking the time to watch this orientation video. I hope you found it helpful. Please do not hesitate to call the office with any questions at 717-762-1191, extension 1300. Summer hours are Monday through Thursday, 7 until 3:30 p.m. Also, new this year, I have attached the Move Up Day video presentations for parent, guardian, and student review. Move Up Day occurred in May this year, where all 5th grade students came to WAMS for a tour and information about the building. With this edition, you will have the ability to view the presentation that your student received during Move Up Day as they were recorded live. I hope you find this additional video helpful. Thank you again for watching.
Hello, WAMS families. I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Mr. Newhart. I will be the assistant principal assigned to and working with each one of your children throughout the next 3 years here that they attend WAMS. I had the unique opportunity in looping with those students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade throughout their times here at WAMS. I am excited for the opportunity to build relationships with each one of the incoming students as they begin their time here at the middle school. We understand that the transition from elementary school to middle school may be a difficult one at times. However, we have multiple things put in place and will be here to help to see your students succeed every step of the way. Please be sure to stay updated with all our WAMS updates and communication by checking our monthly newsletters, Schoology accounts, as well as Sapphire portals. I believe that communication is key in helping our students and families stay connected and helping everybody succeed. Lastly, if you need anything or have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or any one of the administrators here at WAMS. We're excited for the opportunity and we look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Welcome to WAMS. I know you've already been here for a little bit. And you got to talk to Mr. Newhart about procedures and things here at the middle school. We're going to go over more of the specific things about 6th grade, the schedule and the classes and where they're held and so forth, okay? So, I lost my... That's what the bells sound like here. First thing, how many of you are feeling a little anxious or nervous about coming to middle school? I think some of you are just not telling me the truth. Yeah. I think everybody's probably a little bit nervous about starting at a new school. And if you are, then just know you're not alone. Okay, that's pretty normal. In fact, the teachers get a little nervous about a new group each year as well. Okay, so we want to kind of ease your mind about coming over here. Totally normal to be worried. Teachers are here to help you. Hopefully you've already kind of experienced that today. Saw some friendly faces when you came to a new building. And when you're here over the summer, if you're able to come in for a tour, or first day of school even, you're feeling scared, look for a friendly face. Lots of teachers here to answer your questions and help you, okay? We're hoping that we'll have 6th grade tours in August this summer. It just kind of depends if the building's ready. They're doing some things to the building. Hopefully it'll be ready, and if there is an opportunity for you to come in, I definitely suggest that you do so, and you'll get a really detailed tour of the building and check out your schedule and meet your teachers. Don't worry about getting lost. That's the biggest fear, okay? Don't worry about getting lost. I'll talk about that later, but the part of the building you're in is not very big, okay? So we are on teams here at the middle school, and in 6th grade there are 3 teams of teachers. We call them 6A, 6B, and 6C. Okay, I'm on 6A if you wanted to know. There are 4 team teachers on each team, a math teacher, an ELA teacher, science, and social studies. So how many teachers will you actually have in middle school? You'll have those 4 team teachers that I just talked about, but then you'll definitely have some other teachers as well throughout the year. We have related arts classes here, which are kind of like your specials that you have in elementary school. We have 6 related arts classes. They're listed there in the middle. We have art, health, music, STEM, media, and first choice. So that's 6 teachers right there that you'll meet during the year. And you'll have them one at a time for 30 days at a time. So for example, your schedule might say that you're going to start the year with art. Okay, so you'll have art for 30 days, and you'll have that art teacher for 30 days. But then once those 30 days are up, you're going to switch to a new related arts class for 30 days, maybe music, maybe STEM. Okay, so it just works that way through the whole year. We also have what's called a WIN class, and WIN stands for What I Need. You'll have a WIN teacher. It could be a teacher that you already have on your team, or it could be a teacher from another team. It just depends. You'll also have a gym teacher, a phys ed teacher. There's a female phys ed teacher and a male phys ed teacher. What classes will you have? So what you see on the screen right now is a kind of a layout of our daily schedule. We have 7 class periods in a day. Some of them are an hour long, some of them are 40 minutes long. The 6th grade schedule looks like this, and we start with our main core classes in the morning. So your math, your ELA, your science, your social studies. Okay, we have 3 of them first thing in the morning, so 3 hours, and then lunch. Lunch is at 10:44. So that's about the time you can expect to eat next year. And then after lunch, you go back and have your 4th core class. So those main classes are taken care of in the first part of the day. And then the afternoon, we have our WIN class, our phys ed, your related arts that we talked about, and then this thing called Braves Block, which we will talk about more. Where are your classes? Like I said earlier, most people fear getting lost when they come to a new building because this feels like a pretty big building. Good news for you as sixth graders is that almost all of your classes are in the same hallway. We call it the sixth grade wing and it's upstairs. We're going to take you to see it here in a little bit. Yeah, so we stay in that area of the building. You would have to come or here for lunch every day. You're in the cafeteria right now. And then your related arts classes, which are also kind of in this part of the building. The only one that's not is the library, which we'll take you to. And then the gym. When you came in the back door, didn't you? If you ever come in the front door, the gym is at the front of the building by the office. Maybe you've been to basketball games here before. You know where it is. So when will you know your schedule? That's exciting because you want to see what team you're on and you want to know who your teachers are and you want to know if your friends are with you. Hopefully the first draft of your schedule will be on Sapphire. Do you know what Sapphire is? The portal. Late July. And then if we're able to have tours in August and you decide to come in for a tour, you can get a copy of your schedule then. And then definitely first day of school, waiting for you on your desk when you walk in will be your final schedule. Okay, and teachers will show you how to read it and what to do. So I mentioned Braves Block earlier, which is that period at the end of the day, and everybody will have a Braves Block. We call this kind of a study hall. Okay, we expect you or suggest that you work on classwork and homework during that time. It's a great time to get a head start. Some people who use the Braves Block time wisely go with no homework because they worked hard during Braves Block and they don't have to take anything home with them. Other things you can do during Braves Block is see teachers if you have questions or need extra help. You can go to, let's say I need help in science. I can go to the science teacher during that time and ask questions. You can check your grades. That's a great thing to do during Braves Block. Email teachers, just get yourself organized for the next day. And if you're in band or chorus, we do that during that time as well. Some days, not all week, but certain days. You will have homework. You have homework now, right? Yes? Okay. So you will have homework in middle school, and this is just an estimate of maybe what you can expect for each class. The ELA teachers do ask that you read your choice books. So you're reading regularly and keeping up with that. And you might have some grammar pages or some projects to work on from time to time. Math is a subject you can expect to have homework in every night. Okay, 5 to 20 minutes, a worksheet maybe, or just some practice problems. And then social studies and science are more like, if you didn't get something done in class, then you have to finish it for homework. Or if there's a project due in a week, then you're working on it kind of at your own pace for homework. Okay, does that make sense? Don't be scared. You can keep up with it, I promise. So when can you get help at WAMS? There's several times. First of all, during class, if you need help, you don't understand something, please ask questions. Okay, we like it when you ask questions. A lot of times, you have a question, you're a little nervous to ask it, but if you do, there's other people in the room who have the same question, and they're super glad that you raised your hand and asked it. Okay, so ask questions. When is that time of the day, what it may need that you can also get extra help from your WIN teacher reading that. Braves Block is the best time to set up arrangements with the teacher that you want to ask questions of. And then after school, you can stay after school here at the middle school from 2:30 to 3 every day. Teachers are pretty much available. Okay, so you can set up a time that you just didn't get what you were doing in class that day. And if your teacher's free, can I stay after? And they're very accommodating. If you're a walker, you just kind of stay and then walk when you're done. Okay, if you're a car rider or a bus rider, we can make phone calls and just make sure you have a ride home. Okay, we don't have buses then, so you do have to get transportation home if you stay after. We communicate here at WAMS probably the same way your teachers communicate now. We use phone calls, emails, we have parent conferences here just like you do in elementary. We use Sapphire to send out announcements and post important information. We also have this thing called Schoology, which is the first box up there. Have you heard of Schoology? Some people have. Yeah, so you guys use Google Classroom. Which said Mrs. Davenport just talked about. Oh, okay. Schoology is kind of like the Google Classroom that you guys use in elementary school. Okay, so it's an online learning platform where we can post assignments and videos and activities for you. Okay, so you'll get used to that first couple weeks of school. Here at WAMS, we offer lots of extracurricular activities for you. Some might be similar to what you have in elementary school, but I think a lot are different. We do have sports teams here at the middle school. 6th graders are not eligible to play on the sports teams, but in 7th grade you can. Okay, so 6th grade here, you're just preparing for that. You can go and watch the events and see what you're interested in. Make sure you're keeping your grades up and can handle it all. Because when you do want to try out for a sport in 7th grade, I can guarantee your coaches are checking your grades. Okay, and want to know that you're a good student first before they put you on their team. Music activities, we do have band, we have chorus, we have some special music groups like the jazz band and the Borough Bravos. There's a school musical in the fall, so if you're into performing, that might be something for you. And then just some other clubs listed on the side there. FBLA stands for Future Business Leaders of America. Go Girls Go, Yearbook Club, Student Council. There's another school play in the wintertime. We do science fair here, and then chess club and gaming club. Okay, for all of these things, we want you to have good grades and show that you're a responsible student before you apply to be in one of these other activities. Okay. So our last slide is just a list of 10 things that we think that you can do to be successful here at WAMS, and I don't think any of them sound too outrageous. Hopefully you're already doing these things. We want you to come prepared each day, pay attention in class, complete your assignments, do your homework, and make sure that it's done on time. So if your homework is not done on time, it doesn't count for anything. Okay? So do the day it's due. Check your grades, keep up to date with what your assignments are. Here at the middle school, teachers don't chase you down if you're missing something. Okay? We want you to check and know for yourself what you've turned in and what you haven't, and then be responsible for getting it turned in. Ask questions, get extra help, stay out of trouble, which I'm sure Mr. Newhart told you lots about what we expect here as far as academics. And then kind and respectful and get involved. You'll feel better if you're involved in meeting new people, I think. And there's lots of chances to do that here. So, that is what I have for you, and I went pretty fast. So we have time for questions before we go on our tour. Good questions about what I talked about. Go ahead. What is the first question? All the groups. What do you do in gaming club?
So there is Xbox, Wii, board games, the VR set. I was going to say, I see a lot of kids in there with this on. Like skating, cell phone games that you guys play, card games. I don't know if there's PlayStation.
One other question we had that kind of relates to clubs is how do you get into clubs? And so we do announcements here at the middle school in the afternoons. If you're listening to announcements, they'll say something at the beginning of the year. If anyone's interested in joining the video game club, attend a meeting on such and such a day in such and such a room. And so you would do that.
And also, they got
The screens, yeah. We have screens around the building that show announcements as well. Forgot that. Okay, go ahead. A lot of the clubs are for 6th graders. It's just sports that you can't really join the team until 7th grade. Yeah. Go ahead. Difference between band and jazz band. Jazz band is a smaller group that rehearses after school. I think you might have to audition for it. I'm not positive about that.
not all instruments.
Not all instruments, yes. Like I don't think there's any
Just the
flutes.
cool one.
No flutes in the jazz band. You can learn to play other instruments though. I know have been students that have learned to play a second instrument to be in the jazz band. Yeah. Go ahead. Chess club, I think you just play chess. I don't think our chess team competes against other schools, they just play against each other. I know they held a tournament though, and went head to head. There was a bracket, I think it was during March Madness time, and we have a school champion. Yeah, and they can teach you how to play if you don't know. Go ahead. How many instruments do we have? You mean like types of instruments or like how many people are in the band? I think all the same types you have in elementary school. Types of instruments, yeah. I don't think we have any more or any less. I think it's the same. Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, I did not hear you. What is Go Girls Go? Do you have Go Girls Go in elementary? You didn't this year? Okay. It's a group of girls that they meet after school, I think 2 days a week for a couple months. They do a lot of physical activity, running is one of the main activities they do. But other activities too, play games and do team building things, and then they end their season with doing a big 5K race together on a Saturday. Yeah. Maybe. Are you asking if students can put posters on the wall?
Yeah.
I don't believe students should be putting posters on the wall. If they're part of a club, like student council, and maybe you're hanging up signs about Spirit Week, then yeah, that's different. Yeah. Go ahead. You can be in 2 clubs at once, yes. So if you have a lot of interest and want to join multiple clubs, that's fine, as long as, like I said earlier, you're keeping your grades up and you can handle all that responsibility. Go ahead. Sometimes students do announcements. Mr. Thorpe has been our announcement guy for years, but he's retiring, so I don't know who's going to take it over. Students or teachers, I don't know. How do we switch periods? Well, the bell rings, which tells us that it's time to switch. And then you have 3 minutes in between classes to get from one place to the next. Super easy to do when we're upstairs because literally your classes are right next to each other or right across the hall. So it doesn't take 3 minutes. You should switch classes quietly. Your hands to stop, not jumping up and hitting doorways, which I saw some 5th graders do yesterday. Yikes. Is that what you meant? Kind of? Okay. Anybody else? Did I scare you more or excite you? I scared you. Uh-oh.
Don't be afraid. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, you'll love it.
And it's
Best years of your life, middle school.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, good morning. Oh my gosh, let's try it again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Perfect. Welcome to the middle school. My name is Mr. Newhart. I see a lot of familiar faces, some new faces. For those of you who don't know me, I was at Summit View a couple years ago, so I see a lot of familiar faces here, which is awesome. So welcome to the middle school. As I said, my name is Mr. Newhart. I'm going to be your assistant principal, not just next year, but for the next 3 years that you are here at the middle school. So the way that it works is we loop with the grade levels. Mr. Klink is another assistant principal. You'll see him maybe out and about today. He is with 7th and 8th grade. And then Mr. DeAngelis is the head building principal. He's actually off today. Otherwise, he'd be in here introducing himself as well. Okay? Is everybody awake? No, yes? Well, guess what? Next year when you come to the middle school, you're going to start school an hour earlier than what you guys have started this year. All right, we're going to go through a couple different things. So Miss Carrie is not here. She is with the student right now. She's going to be your school counselor. Right now you have Mrs. Davenport. Miss Carrie, again, just like I am going to do, she's going to loop with you guys the next 3 years here. She might be able to pop in at some point. After our presentation here, you're going to go down to our cafeteria so you can see what the cafeteria looks like. There's a couple teachers down there that are going to talk to you about a few things, and then you're actually going to get to walk down to where the 6th grade classes are, kind of get a little tour of that, and then you'll be going back to Summit View. Okay? All right, so we're going to cover a bunch of information. There's nothing to be nervous about because everybody is going to be new here next year from Fairview, Summit View, Maury, Weaverville, so we're all going to get through it together. All right, the biggest thing that we're going to talk about today is using common sense, and everybody should hopefully know what that is, but we'll talk a little bit about that. But asking questions if you're confused, because chances are if you have a question, somebody else is going to have the same exact question. We have about 1,000 students in this building. And again, chances are if one person has a question, somebody else is going to have something very, very similar. So new can be scary. Please try not to be nervous or anxious. We're going to take everything slow the first couple of days as well as weeks as we gradually work into the big change going from your elementary school here to the middle school. Okay, there's that word common sense. Who can tell me what common sense is, or what do you think common sense means to you? What? 2 hands? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, no, you're onto something good there. So she said, if you didn't hear, basically thinking about something before you're doing it. So at this point in 5th grade, you guys know the difference between what's right and what's wrong. Also, what should happen and what shouldn't happen. So not only does that reflect behavior, but a big thing here at the middle school is having responsibility, because you have a lot more freedom than what you've had in the elementary school, but using that common sense and thinking through those thoughts and processes to be successful behaviorally, but also academically, because unfortunately as you get older, there are some additional consequences, and we'll kind of go over what those things look like here once you're at the middle school. So Chromebooks, everybody has a Chromebook, right? So when you get to the middle school, it's going to be the same exact thing. We're one-to-one with technology here, which means that every single person has a Chromebook. Every single person has a Chromebook charger that's assigned to them. All right? Now, just like in the elementary school, if there's anything that happens to your Chromebook, you are responsible for it. So if there's a screen that gets damaged, if you drop your Chromebook because it's not in the case and it breaks, you're responsible for those costs associated with those damages, okay? We do have a help desk here at the middle school. It's located in our library, so that means somebody from the tech department is going to be down in the library from the morning until the end of the day. If something happens with your Chromebook where your keys stop working, your screen goes black and you can't get it back, it's not charging correctly, you're going to ask your teacher if you can go down to the help desk. You're going to take your device down to the help desk, talk to them. They might be able to fix it on the spot. If they can't, they might give you a loaner Chromebook. What a loaner Chromebook is that something that you get to borrow or they loan out to you for that day, and then you have to give it back to them at the end of the day. Okay? So don't get worried, don't get panicked if something happens to your Chromebook. The biggest thing, again, is thinking about it and telling your classroom teacher or whoever the adult is present, something happened to my Chromebook, I need to go down to the help desk. What ends up happening is that sometimes we have students that wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then it becomes a small issue, it turns into a large issue. So make sure we're reporting that immediately, okay? The other thing is, how many of you are familiar with GoGuardian? All right, so same thing. We have GoGuardian here at the middle school, except we have an added layer to GoGuardian. So your classroom teachers have GoGuardian, but we as administration also have GoGuardian. So what that means is we can go back and we can look in your emails, we can look in your documents, we can look at the websites that you searched, all because you guys have a specific username and password associated to that, which you'll see down here at the bottom of the slide as well. Now, if you go home and you search something that's not appropriate and it's Saturday and it's 3 in the morning because you're not sleeping for whatever reason, I'll get a notification for that, okay? And then when you come into school the next day, we'll have to have a conversation about appropriate things to look up on the computer, and if it continues to happen, we'll have to have further conversations about what's appropriate and put some things in place here, okay? At the very bottom, like I said, everybody has a username and everybody has a password. That username and password is completely different than the person sitting next to you. So sometimes what ends up happening is students will have to use the restroom, they'll leave their computer screen up and open, and then the person sitting next to them thinks it's a good idea to use that student's computer to search something inappropriate. Okay? Don't do that, because what ends up happening is we can't prove whether it was you or the person sitting next to you, so we tell all the students, close your computer lids, especially if you don't trust the person sitting next to you. What this also means is that if you come up to the office and say somebody hacked into my computer, we're going to know that's not possible, because that means you gave somebody your username and password, because it's different than the person sitting next to you. So that is confidential information. Do not share it with anybody else. Okay, so it's the same thing that you guys have had now as 5th graders. We're just, again, reinforcing that as 6th graders. All right, we already talked about Go Guardian. The biggest thing that I want to talk about is, again, you have a little bit more freedom. Here at the middle school, you will have 7 different periods a day. What that means is that you're going to have a bunch of different assignments. Sometimes students get bored in class because we as adults get bored, right? And sometimes when your mind starts to wander, you're not thinking about what you're supposed to be doing and you end up typing some stuff in the computer that you probably shouldn't. We always operate under the rule of thumb, if you wouldn't search it in front of your teacher, your principal, or your parents or guardians, you probably shouldn't be searching it by yourself, okay? Just think about that again before you start kind of going off and your mind starts to wander. All right, as I already mentioned, everything can be tracked. If you send an email, if you have a document, you delete something, the tech department can go back and find it, and we can figure out what happened. All right, so lockers. This is going to be something new for you guys. Everybody at the middle school is assigned their own personal locker. Okay? Your lockers are going to be located in the 6th grade wing, which you'll go and get a tour of later. Along with the locker, every single person gets their own locker key or lock. All right? Now, with a locker, we at the middle school don't require you to use the locker. We leave it up to the students. If you would like to put all your items in your book bags for all your 7 classes and carry them throughout the day, that's up to you. However, it does get heavy, and keep in mind that you're responsible for whatever items that you have. So, we'll have some time for questions.
Oh, great.
Nice. Also, included within that, okay, your book bag or your heavy jackets that you wear in the wintertime, those have to go in your locker. So when it's warm outside, you might think, man, I don't want to use my locker. I don't have, a heavy jacket. That's okay. However, we do ask, and it is a requirement, that when you come in the wintertime and you have a heavy jacket, please make sure that that goes in your locker, because your teachers are going to tell you can't be wearing it in the building. Okay? Just like the elementary schools, we have heating, we have air conditioning, so there's no need to be wearing a heavy jacket in the building. You can wear hooded sweatshirts, that's fine, as long as you're not putting your hood up as well. But heavy jackets you can't be wearing. The other thing is, similar to like your Chromebooks, we're not going to be sharing our locker combinations or lockers with another student, because unfortunately if something ends up happening and we have to go through a locker and search a locker and somebody else is sharing it and they have something they're not supposed to, who ends up getting in trouble? You guys. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. The last statement is very important here. Your locker is an organizational tool, not a trash bin. All right? Everybody knows what a trash can is, right? It's all messy. It has a whole bunch of junk in it, right? I can't tell you how often that I'm going down the hallway and I see students open their locker and things are just falling out, pouring out, okay? Part of that, again, is staying organized. Like I said, you have 7 different classes here at the middle school. So if your locker has stuff just thrown in on top of it and you're opening it up and stuff's falling out, chances are you're probably going to be forgetting to turn papers in, assignments, projects, all that sort of stuff, okay? The dress code here, again, this is something similar that you guys have had in elementary school. Here at the middle school, the dress code is the exact same that you had at the elementary school, all right? It's the same dress code that the school district has put on their website. We will give it out in the student parent handbook that will be signed and returned to us at the beginning of the year for 6th grade. But again, the biggest thing here at the bottom, if it's questionable, don't wear it. So chances are, you wake up in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, man, I look good. But should I be wearing that? If you question it, chances are you probably shouldn't be wearing it, okay? Here at the middle school, what ends up happening is all the staff members, as students enter the building, the staff members are going to be looking to see if anything is questionable. If it is questionable, you're going to be sent to the office, okay? There's 3 different things that could happen with the dress code here at the middle school. The first thing is, hopefully this is usually what ends up happening, is you have an extra pair of your own personal pants or a shirt or whatever that you can put on top or over it so you can be in compliance with the dress code, meaning you'd be okay. The second option, if you don't have something, we send you to the nurse's office. The nurse has some pretty cool sweatpants and some sweet outfits that if you don't have anything that you can personally wear, she's going to check to see if she has something that you can wear for the remainder of the day. And then the third option is the biggest kind of unfortunate inconvenience, is we're going to have to call your parent or guardian, and then your parent or guardian is either going to have to leave work or they're going to have somebody go to your house, bring you something into the building. And then unfortunately, if they can't do that, then you would spend the rest of the day in our in-school suspension room. Okay? The biggest thing with dress code is, again, appropriate length shorts. That's the biggest thing that we're seeing this time of the year. If you do have shorts on that are short, you can put leggings on underneath of it or shorts on underneath of that are longer as well. The other big thing that we see is holes in the jeans. Okay? If you have holes in your jeans, they are okay as long as they are not above mid-thigh region. All right, that's when we see the biggest or the largest dress code type things. All right, cell phones, and again, there's that word common sense. So, how many of you have a cell phone? Okay, how many of you have a social media account that's associated with your name? All right. I think cell phones and social media is the worst two things that you can give any middle school student, all right? And this is the reason why. What ends up happening is our cell phone policy states that students are not permitted to have cell phones in the building. What that means is when you come into the building in the morning, there's two expectations. One, the cell phone needs to be turned off. Two, the cell phone needs to be put either in your book bag and or your locker, okay? If we catch you on your cell phone, the teacher or whatever staff member sees it, you are giving them your cell phone and it gets brought to the office. That is a no exception because that is our policy. If you become argumentative towards that individual, there will be further consequences associated with that, okay? Don't bring it to school because what ends up happening, and this also, you see up here listed as AirPods as well, if something goes missing, we cannot be responsible for it because it was not supposed to be in the building. So oftentimes students come to us and say, I lost my cell phone or I lost my AirPods. Unfortunately, we can't tell what is yours and what is not yours. So again, because it's not supposed to be in the building, we ask that you not bring it. All right? And again, as outlined on the bottom here, if cell phones end up being a concern or start to kind of have issues here, there are consequences that are associated with it. So the first time, it's what they call a reprimand. So you come down to the office, we have a conversation, I reach out to your parent or guardian and say, hey, you had your cell phone out and you were using it, you can pick it up at the end of the day. Second time is a 60-minute detention and your parent has to come pick it up. And then the third time it's a day of in-school suspension and your parent has to pick it up as well. If it continues to happen, you'll have to leave your cell phone in the office, okay? Everybody has one of these guys, we know it, but don't bring it out because there's no purpose or use for it here because your teachers don't allow you to be on it here, okay? All right, cafeteria, they'll talk a little bit about cafeteria when you get down there. The cafeteria is an awesome opportunity or experience. You're going to be eating with everybody in your grade level at the same time. So all 300 some students are going to be eating in the cafeteria at the same time. You guys as 6th grade have the first lunch, which is 10:43 to 11:13 or 10:47 to 11:17, depending on the bell schedule rather. The food possibilities are a lot different than elementary school, okay? If you want to get pizza every day, you can get pizza, okay? We have 2 main lines, which means whatever's on the lunch menu, 2 lines are serving the exact same thing to help students get through quicker. You can sit wherever you want in the cafeteria, okay? We have a la carte, which means we have things like sandwiches, like cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, french fries. If you want to get a sandwich every day, like a ham and cheese sandwich, you can get one of those every day. We have salads, okay? We have snack packs. You can get snack packs every day. So you have tons of different options here at the middle school for lunches, and then you'll kind of see the way the cafeteria looks when you guys go down there, all right? The other thing, and we'll talk about this as well once we get into some Braves Bucks conversations, but we try to take students outside for lunch because you don't get recess here. So after everybody has been finished eating, if you have 2 Braves Bucks, we allow you or present the opportunity for you guys to go outside. It just will cost you 2 Braves Bucks, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Okay? So the top one here is respect. You guys have been doing an awesome job sitting here, so I'm super impressed already. But when you talk about respect, if you expect it, be the first to show it. Okay? We understand that everybody gets frustrated here. We as adults get frustrated every single day. However, part of middle school is becoming older, is learning the appropriate ways to interact socially and handle those situations. All right? The biggest thing that I have from students is that teacher didn't show me respect. Well, what did you do first that the teacher became frustrated? All right? So again, common sense, thinking that thought out for how you could have handled that situation a little bit differently. Attendance, again, this is the same, guys. You're expected to be in school every single day, okay? Part of attendance is that people are going to miss school because you get sick. That's part of life, right? If you get sick, you have 3 days to turn in an excuse, whether it's from the doctor or your parent or guardian. After 3 days, if you don't turn in an excuse, our attendance secretary marks that day as an unexcused or illegal day. What ends up happening here now is if you start to accumulate so many unexcused days, you might be what they put on called a doctor's restriction, which means anytime you're absent, you would then need a doctor's note to return back to school for it to be counting as an excused day. The other thing what ends up happening is if you miss so many days, you might end up having to go to truancy court and you have to stand in front of the judge and explain to them why you've been absent 45 days this school year. Okay? Unfortunately, there are some students that do not come to school on a regular basis, and again, as you get older, there's some additional things that we have put in place to help change that action or plan. If you have an early dismissal because you have a doctor's note or you're going somewhere else, just make sure that we know in the office and your parent or guardian will have to come in and, again, sign you out and that sort of thing. What's the word tardy mean? Can anybody tell me? In the back.
Missing.
Are you Mr. Bowser? You're what? Missing?
Missing or not attend, like not attended or not there.
Kinda. Yeah, when you're late to school, okay? Here at the middle school, we have something called Tardy Tuesday. So every Tuesday, Mr. Klink and myself, the other assistant principal, run a list of students that are tardy to the building. Once you start to accumulate 3 tardies, that enacts what we call our Tardy Tuesday policy or plan here in the building. We'll call you down to the office and again have conversations with you each time. And if you continue to be tardy, okay, again, we have things put in place. So you'll see up there again, reprimand, could be 30-minute detentions, could be 60-minute detentions on the amount of tardies. Unfortunately, I have some students that have been tardy 30+ times as an 8th grader. That's a lot of times. If you think about when you get older and think about the workforce, if you want to have a job, if you show up late to your job 30 times, what aren't you going to have anymore? A job, right? And who likes money?
Me.
Right? Everybody. So make sure we're trying to get you in that good habit and that good mindset for you to be successful, both in school and out of school. So arrival and dismissal, I started off the presentation by talking about this. School will begin an hour earlier here. Okay? So our doors open at 7:15 a.m. You will all go down to the cafeteria. So it doesn't matter if you're a car rider, bus rider, walker, all 6th grade students in the morning will go down to the cafeteria. Okay? If you're a bus rider, you get dropped off at the high school and you walk along the walking path, and then you go to the cafeteria through the main entrance. If you're a car rider, you get dropped off at Summit View, you come in through the doors that you came through today, and then you make your way down to the cafeteria. Walkers, however you get to school, you just come in through one of those entrances and you go down there, okay? We have breakfast down in the cafeteria. This year it is free. I'm not sure what it's going to be next year, but you have the opportunity to get breakfast if you wish down in the cafeteria. And then at 7:30, when that first bell rings, everybody is dismissed to head to your first period class. At 7:38 is the late bell or the tardy bell. So that gives you 8 minutes between the time that you're dismissed from the cafeteria to get to your first period class. So that means going to the bathroom, that means talking to your friends, that means going to your locker, whatever you need to do in those 8 minutes, you have that time to do that before that late bell rings. If you're not in class by 7:38, you're going to be considered tardy or late, and then you have to get your tardy slip from the office. Okay? Dismissal, if you're a bus rider, you're going to be dismissed at 2:19 p.m. So because you started school an hour earlier, you get out of school an hour earlier. All right? Walkers are dismissed at 2:28. Everybody's going to exit from the main entrance. All right? Your classroom teachers have assigned afternoon duties that they will either be walking out with the bus riders or walking the car riders out to the main front or the main entrance there. Again, making sure that you're staying on your sidewalks or the walking path. We're not running and all that sort of stuff. Okay? We already talked about social media. The biggest thing with social media is don't be bringing it here into the building. If it's happening outside of school, the local police or your local police jurisdiction, whether it's borough police, Washington Township police, state police, they're going to be involved and they're going to be investigating the situation. So if you're saying comments outside of school, police will be contacted. Okay? It's no joke. Don't bring it in the building. We don't tolerate it here either. Cell phones aren't permitted here, so if there's social media comments that are happening during the school day, it's going to be even further consequences. All right? You guys are in 6th grade. You're here to learn. We're not here to get wrapped up into drama or things like that. Nice. What do you think?
We're thinking we'll do the presentation as fast as we can,
Okay.
break those straight to you, and all do the tour at the end.
Whatever. How many minutes do you think?
Should probably
15?
10 to 15.
That'll work.
Or through their tour, if you're done, you do questions and.
I got a couple more slides.
Okay.
We all right. We'll figure it out. Just come back up.
All right.
All right, so Braves Bucks. We talked about this very briefly here. So Braves Bucks is a currency system that we have here at the middle school. So you will all get Braves Bucks. We can use those Braves Bucks for a bunch of positive different things. You can use them for reward lunches. You can use them for some of your teachers have school stores. You can use them for recess. Well, we say recess, but that means going outside for the cafeteria, okay? And some of your teacher have different movies and things that they play throughout the year. However, just like money, you get money, sometimes you have to give money or pay money for some things. So your classroom teachers, one of those basic expectations is that your Chromebook needs to be charged daily. If you run out of like 3 times, I think is the magic number for 6th grade, if your Chromebook's not charged 3 times, they're going to ask you to pay them Braves Bucks. And if you don't have Braves Bucks to pay, you're going to get teacher detentions every time that happens. So making sure that you have those Braves Bucks, you get them at the beginning of the year, but you also get them for exhibiting positive acts of behavior, helping your teachers out, all that sort of stuff. Okay? How do you stay out of trouble here? So again, there's that word, be respectful to one another, respectful to staff members. Asking a lot of questions. We already talked about this as well. Chances are, if you have a question, somebody else is going to have the same exact question. If something feels wrong, reporting it. What does that mean? Okay. So unfortunately, there are times that students are not going to display positive acts of behavior. We have a system put in place here that kind of reflects the following. If you see something or you're involved in something that probably isn't good, the first thing is we're going to ask you that you report it to a staff member immediately. So if something happens on the bus, who do you think you should tell? The bus driver, right? If something's happening in the cafeteria, you're going to report it to one of the cafeteria staff members. You can report it to an administrator. You can report it to a teacher. You can report it to Miss Carrie, who's over there now. All right, so we have a bunch of different staff members that have the opportunity for you to report it. Just make sure you do it immediately. It makes it very difficult when you come to us and say, oh, so-and-so called me a name 3 weeks ago. Well, it's going to be very hard for me to look into something that happened 3 weeks ago when 3 weeks has passed and you probably don't remember when it happened, where it happened, or what the name even was, okay? So make sure that you're telling somebody immediately. Also, we have student statement forms in the office that are all completely anonymous, so if something happens, you can go down, ask one of our secretaries, hey, I'd like to report something, and they'll give you a student statement form, and you can fill that out to provide details about a situation that had happened or you observed it. The next one here is no PDA, public displays of affection. So that means we're not holding hands, whether it's your best friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. We're not holding hands, we're not hugging, we're not kissing. None of that is permitted. If we see it, okay, you will be asked to separate, and if it continues to happen, there'll be further disciplinary actions as we go here. Again, using that common sense, you guys already know what's right and what's wrong. Okay, we don't need to make it complicated. So what happens if you continue to make those mistakes? Okay, this is where what we call progressive discipline happens. So when you think about it, everybody makes a mistake. That's part of life. Okay, we're all human. We all make mistakes. But remember that mistakes are expected, meaning that we expect you guys to make mistakes. We as adults make mistakes. However, respect the fact that you made that mistake. So if you do make a mistake and your teacher calls you out on it, that's okay. That's part of the learning process, is making sure that you're knowledgeable of the mistake that you just made, because that helps you correct it. Inspect it, meaning thinking about what did I do wrong and how can I change that for the future. And then the last thing is in green, correcting that mistake. So again, once you make that mistake and you work through that process, is correcting it to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Because unfortunately, if it continues to happen over and over again, that tells us that you didn't learn from that initial mistake, which leads us to what we call progressive discipline. So progressive discipline is issued for students that continue to exhibit not great behaviors. Okay? These are all the things that could end up happening following progressive discipline. It could be calls home from either teachers, calls home from administration. Okay? It could be conversations with teachers, conversations with administration. It could be teacher detentions. It could be lunch detentions. It could be 60-minute detentions, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension. These are all things put in place not to highlight the negative things, but to help you learn from your mistakes. Because ultimately, in 3 years, you're going to be 8th graders, and then you're going to go over to the high school. And just like you coming here to the middle school, the expectations are a little bit higher. The high school's expectations are a little bit higher, so we have to help prepare you for that as well. Okay? Again, be smart, correct your mistakes. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about here before we get into some questions is academics. This is probably one of the most important pieces here at the middle school. So academics, you have 7 class periods a day. You have 4 core classes. Those core classes are ELA, math, science, and social studies. The other classes that you have are gym. You have WIN, which is what I need. So some of you might need some help in math or reading. Some of you might have the ability to choose a WIN or an elective WIN for what you want. Okay? We also have what we call related arts here. We have 6 different related arts classes. They run on a 27, 28-day cycle, so you'll get to cycle through all the related arts throughout the year. Each of those classes you get a grade for. Okay? Now, at the middle school, it's a little bit different. You have 4 different marking periods here at the middle school. Each of those marking periods, you start with 100%. The rest is up to you guys in terms of how you do. So if you're choosing not to complete your classwork, or you're choosing not to submit assignments, and you say, I just forgot to press submit, and we're now 6 weeks into the new marking period, and you say, I just keep forgetting to press submit, chances are you're probably purposely forgetting to press submit, because it's a click of a button. Okay? If you don't pass your classes, they do have unfortunate consequences here at the middle school. And that consequence of not passing is summer school, okay? I believe that this is the last year summer school is free for students. Next year, I believe that if you unfortunately fail a class, it's going to cost money. So some of you may end up having to pay some money if you're not being academically responsible. The other thing is if you don't participate in summer school, you don't go on to the next grade level. Okay? That's a non-negotiable here at the middle school. Now, on a positive note, guys, is we have so many things put in place, okay? You can stay after school with your teachers from 2:30 to 3 o'clock. You can go visit them during a time that we call Braves block if you're ever behind on something, and they can help you get caught up to be academically successful. But again, part of the middle school is it's on you guys. How much effort you put in is what you get out of it, okay? So please be responsible and make an effort because it's ultimately going to be you guys. And then again, communication, this already happens now, but there's tons of communication between classroom teachers, between your parents, between us. There's monthly newsletters that go out to all parents or guardians. We have the district website that gets updated. So you guys will have numerous opportunities, okay, to be kept in the loop with things happening. All right? That's all I have. I'm going to introduce Miss Carrie. She's over here. She had the ability to come in.
Hi guys, I'm Miss Carrie, so I'll be your school counselor next year and every year that you're at the middle school. So there's 3 counselors total, but I will follow you guys throughout your time at the middle school. So I have a job very similar to Mrs. Davenport. When you guys come next year, we'll kind of go over the process of how you can ask to see me, because it might be a little bit different than how you guys do things at some of you, but we'll get to that when you guys are here in August. But I'm excited to get to know all of you, and I'm here for you guys if you need to talk about anything. But yeah, so happy to see all your faces.
Okay, perfect. All right, I have 3 minutes, so that I have time for a couple. Pause. This is Mr. Basso. He's one of the PE teachers. Hi. Do you recognize anybody? All right. Anybody have questions? Okay. Are you on the? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. If you're packing lunch, yeah, if you're a packer, you can pack lunch, but you're not able to bring other food in. Like you can't just bring a bag of Takis in if you're not packing lunch. It'll be taken. I don't like Takis, so it just goes in the trash. Yeah, high fives are cool. Is the school lunch free? The school lunch does have a cost associated with it. However, if you qualify for free and reduced paperwork, that would be sent up at the beginning of the year, or when you come in during the summertime for tours, there'll be somebody here with paperwork for that. Okay?
Can we go on our phone on the bus?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can we use our phone on the bus?
That's all dependent on the bus driver. I can tell you that I have some bus drivers that do not allow phones on the bus and others that do. So that's going to be a conversation directly with your personal bus driver.
Why can we hug each other?
Because it's considered public displays of affection, not appropriate. Do you have to bring water? Nope, it has to be water. Cannot bring Gatorade, cannot bring Powerade, energy drinks, anything like that. You are able to bring a water bottle, but we do have water fountains here that can fill those water bottles up. If you are observed drinking something other than water, you will be asked to pour it out. Okay? That's a whole district policy, not just a middle school. You would have to arrange that prior to staying with that classroom teacher. Because some of your teachers might have meetings between the 2:30 and 3 o'clock time, so if you plan to stay, you would already have that arranged in advance. Okay? the back.
Are you allowed, so like, you said, like, Brave Bucks, I think it's what's called?
Yep, raise bucks.
So like, could you pay Brave Bucks for like a lunch? No.
What do you mean?
No, you cannot.
No, Braves bucks are not real money. Those are just a currency that we have here at the middle school that we have put in place. It's not actual money. Okay? So you can't actually buy things with them. Like, you can't buy a bag of chips with them from the cafeteria.
No, I mean like, oh, no.
Okay. Nope, you can't put anything like sticker-wise on your locker, because when you leave 6th grade, the next group of 6th graders that come in could have the same locker as you. Okay? We have mirrors in our bathrooms if you want to worry about your hair. Yeah. Okay, we good? All right.